In the United States, the Food and Drug Administration has authorized Pfizer and Moderna's updated COVID-19 booster shots. We're speaking now of what this means for the global fight against the coronavirus with former U.S. FDA Associate Commissioner Peter Pitts joining us from New York. Commissioner Pitts, thank you so much for joining us. How significant are these Pfizer and Moderna updated COVID-19 boosters?
It's extremely important, and it's important for not just the U.S., but for the entire world. These new shots are bivalent, which means that they are effective against the original COVID strain as well as the various Omicron variants. And it's important to be protected against both because the original strain obviously was severe and deadly, and the Omicron variants are more infectious. So two strains, one injection, very important.
And how different is the Pfizer booster vis-a-vis the Moderna updated vaccine?
The chemistry relative to the mRNA technology, kind of the plug-and-play technology, is more or less the same. But in the U.S., the Pfizer vaccine will be approved for ages 12 and up, and the Moderna vaccine for ages 18 and up. And what's interesting is, unlike the previous booster shots, this booster is approved for the entire U.S. population, not just those most at risk.
And for those who are still unvaccinated, Mr. Pitts, will these updated bivalent vaccines be sufficient to protect them? Can they replace the primary series shots?
They will not replace the primary series shots. In fact, the FDA has said that if you are not vaccinated, you need to get properly vaccinated first with the original two-dose mRNA vaccines. And I think that's also relevant for people in the Philippines who initially got the Sinopharm Chinese vaccine. The booster would be appropriate for them. So it is a broad population product, but for the unvaccinated, the original series still remains important to protect against the deadly version of COVID-19.
So how often, Professor Pitts, should we be getting these booster shots after the primary series? Just like myself, I got the primary series. I got my first booster shot 6 months ago. When should I be getting my second booster and third boosters?
If you've already been boosted, you can get this third booster 2 months after your last booster. But I think it's wise to kind of time it with getting your flu vaccine as well. And clearly in the Philippines right now, it's the rainy season, you're in flu season. So the timing to get that done would be sooner rather than later. But if you've been boosted, the rule in the U.S. is anytime after 2 months, you can get this new booster shot.
Can you get your booster shot together with your flu shot? Can it be simultaneous?
Yes, and unfortunately, there isn't yet one shot for the flu and COVID-19, but you can get your flu shot and the COVID-19 booster shot at the same time, and that's certainly something that I'm going to do.
Some FDA critics, Professor Pitts, are saying that the emergency use authorization of the updated COVID vaccine booster was too fast, too quick. Your thoughts as a former FDA Associate Commissioner?
I don't agree with that. I believe that the data, largely mouse data, is very robust. It's the same type of data we use annually for the updated flu vaccine. It's important to send a message that this vaccine, this booster, is safe and effective and based on science and data. People can disagree on the science, but at the end of the day, the FDA understands this type of technology extremely well, and I'm very confident that the booster is safe and effective.
Walk us a little bit through the process. What measures does the FDA take to ensure that these updated boosters meet rigorous safety, effectiveness, and manufacturing quality standards for emergency use authorizations?
Well, let's deal with safety and efficacy first, because that's what people think about initially. You know, there have been no vaccines given to more people in a short period of time than the COVID-19 vaccines, especially the mRNA vaccine. So we understand that these vaccines work, they're safe and effective, and they're produced from the highest quality relative to Moderna and Pfizer. You know, these are world-class operations. The new booster is simply a rejiggering of the vaccine. It is not a new vaccine. It's simply a better vaccine manufactured at the same quality. So again, people should be confident that it's safe, effective, and of the highest quality.
And we've seen over the past months several variants of Omicron. Are we still likely to see some of the deadly variants from last year, like the Delta? Can it still come back?
It can always come back. It isn't likely. Viruses generally tend to mutate to less deadly forms. It's better for the virus to survive inside the human body. Is it possible? Of course it is. And the ramifications are significant, which is why it's important that the bivalent vaccine addresses both strains and that those people who are not yet vaccinated really do need to get the initial full course of the mRNA vaccines.
And with the impact of Omicron, as we've seen over the past few months, not as severe as the other variants like Delta, are we now in the endemic phase of COVID?
I believe that we are. I think the panic has been taken out of pandemic, and that is one key indicator of an endemic. It's going to be with us for a long time, and the big difference is before COVID-19 was in control, now we are in control. And with this new bivalent vaccine, we remain firmly in control, making sure that the virus remains endemic and not deadly.
Former U.S. FDA Associate Commissioner Peter Pitts, thank you so much for your insights on this new bivalent vaccine.